Obviously, as a government, we lean heavily on CSIS and our intelligence agencies.
At the same time, this government knew that the very same diplomat was targeting a sitting member of parliament. And for 3 long years, this government did nothing. Either this prime minister is grossly incompetent or he just doesn't care about protecting Chinese Canadians from Beijing. But it gets worse. According to national security sources, CSIS has provided this government with a list of other Beijing diplomats identified for expulsion because of the threat they pose to Chinese Canadians. How many names are on that list? How many more warnings from CSIS is this government ignoring?
Minister of Foreign Affairs.
End of flashback.
Welcome back to Canadian Political Clips, where we unravel the mess that is Trudeau and his woke liberal gang. Today, we dive into the hypocritical circus surrounding TikTok, with our favorite Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, leading the way in a classroom. Let's jump right in.
CSIS Director David Vigneault is warning Canadians against using TikTok in light of his comments and what he knows about how it operates. Do you think TikTok is safe for Canadians, and do you see a role for government in regulating TikTok?
Obviously, as a government, we lean heavily on CSIS and our intelligence agencies to keep Canadians safe. And when the director of CSIS is pointing out that TikTok poses a real threat to the data security of Canadians, I think Canadians need to listen. Obviously, we already took measures as a government to ensure that all federal computers and phones do not have the TikTok app applied to them. That's a risk that we don't want for our government, but I know more organizations, orders of governments are looking at that very seriously as well. We need to continue to have a conversation with Canadians about how they remain safe online. Yes, there's a role for government, and we'll continue to consult and work with Canadians on that. It's important that we empower Canadians to make smarter choices about keeping themselves and their families safe online. That's one of the reasons why we're moving forward with an Online Harms Act focused on keeping kids safe and making sure that our online world is as safe or even safer than our in real life world.
Oh, isn't this rich? Trudeau talking about listening to CSIS warnings like he's Canada's digital knight in shining armor. Funny how he's suddenly concerned about our data security when it involves an app that's more popular with kids than his approval ratings. Well, thank goodness our federal computers are safe from TikTok. Now, if only he had listened to CSIS about other slightly more critical threats. But hey, priorities, right? It's almost like he's saying, do as I say, not as I do, while he and his woke crew figure out what safety means this week.
I think right now, with the move the Americans made, we're going to see how TikTok responds. The concerns are that the data that TikTok collects on all of its users gets simply funneled to the government of China and is used to, potentially for nefarious purposes. These are things that we are very aware of, and we're encouraging Canadians to be very, very careful about their online usage. As the company responds to what the U.S. is asking them to do, we'll see if there are changes that make TikTok a less unsafe platform. We know that a lot of people, particularly young people, enjoy using TikTok, and we need to make sure that that usage is safe. So we're going to follow carefully, but before taking any drastic actions, let's see how the company responds.
The old empower Canadians shtick, because nothing says empowerment like a government telling you your every next move. Next, they'll be empowering us to pay more taxes for the privilege of their wise leadership. Oh, the irony. Trudeau, who cozies up with the globalist elites and the WEF, now wants to talk about cutting ties with foreign influence. It's almost like he's forgetting who he's been taking advice from. Remember, folks, this is the same guy who ignored countless warnings from CSIS about foreign interference in our elections. But now, TikTok is the big bad wolf. Translation. We'll drag our feet and hope the problem solves itself, just like we do with everything else. Only he had this much caution when signing trade deals or making policies that affect our national security. Maybe then we wouldn't be in this mess, right? Because the woke liberal agenda is all about seeing how companies respond, especially when it's convenient. Just like how they're still trying to figure out how to define what a woman is. But hey, at least TikTok users can sleep soundly knowing Trudeau is on the case. So there you have it, folks. Another day, another round of Trudeau's lip service. Stay tuned to Canadian political clips for more on the absurdity of our progressive leadership.